Good good afternoon, good evening, good morning, possibly wherever you are in the world and you actually stumbled upon this wonderful effort that we're doing here, Black Lives Matter, grassroots in Michigan. Again, our focus is to work to repair the brokenness in our community through a level of actions that we are focusing on. Much of the principles of the Black Panthers that was committed to the healing and the support and security of their community, our community, in the face of diametrically opposition that spends its every working hour to destroy, to murder, to just no opportunities at all that is granted in this community that we live in. And so our focus is really, really, really in how do we work to heal one another, that we build an infrastructure for ourselves, autonomous to what's going on outside of our community. Because anytime that we engage in any discourse in the broader community, again, it comes with either you capitulate, do as you're told, or you are definitely assigned to a life of imprisonment, debt, or death. Those are the options for Black people in America. But again, I want to just say hello to our community. It's so important that we continue to work here in our community, that we are bringing our community together through love and action. What that looks like, that takes many forms. When you think about the levels of engagement and the historical level of brokenness in our community for 500 years, we all are traumatized. Many of us choose to continue to be traumatized, choose to be um, enslaved. I just cannot dress it up any better than that, making it very clear in the climate that we are living in today. Two young men were lynched, the other day. Those lynchings are intentional. The law enforcement want to say that there's no foul play, and that's what they have always said. At one time, you know, at another time, they intentionally lynched, castrated us, killed, murdered, tarred, and feathered us, dismembered us, like they did Nat Turner. Anytime you bring up the truth of this country, along with the administration that's going on now, they have a problem with the truth. That's why every effort is to erase our history, just like with the likes of Clarence Thomas, support the erasure, Ben Carson, and many, many Black ministers, uh, Black people to claim to say that they are supposed to be engaged in the upliftment of our community. And it shouldn't be a situation of being a progressive or conservative or liberal. It should be about humanity. What do humans, or what was the uh, commitment to the so-called Jesus element? Because Jesus too was murdered and lynched for speaking out. And so when you look at the foundation of even theology that's gotten so far away from the original origin of even when you want to say any kind of language, Judaism, or Confucianism, or Buddhism, First Nation people, however you want to define any aspiration of theology in relevance or in relationship to the universe, it should be founded on we should not kill one another. That should be the core of what we are engaged in. Hey, my brother. Hey, my brother. Started already, so again, yes, just watch it. So again, our technician just came in, Brother King. Brother King came in. What you need to do is go to your phone, open it up, go to our site. So if people are calling in or what have you, you can answer them. Okay. If they have any questions or any questions to us. So that's Fli-City Blackout. Uh, go to YouTube. So anyway, getting started, we want to open up. Again, I want to greet you guys again. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, wherever you're located on the globe. Whenever you get a chance to hear this or this being rebroadcast, we are streaming live right now. And again, our goal is here at Black Lives Matter, Flint, Michigan. Our goals is simple. We're working to love and repair the brokenness in our community. That takes many forms, from being community outreach, working in the school, working with our young people, working with returning citizens. A young man is coming on next week that I'm going to meet. I'm going to work to integrate him back into the community. We believe our community, people returning home from plantation, needs 5 years of circle of support, just like with our children that are in school because of the high rate of poverty and illiteracy in Flint, Michigan, and the lack of jobs and opportunity. When we got over 40,000 Black men and women, uh, over 40,000 individuals in Genesee County that have felonies that's not being addressed because there's no resources. Again, these are the things that we're trying to develop partnership, trying to engage those people with money, with dollars. Many times they don't look like you and I, but we're trying to talk to them in a way that they may feel obligated under some code of conduct of humanity that they will want to spend their money on helping to repair a community that's been broken for 500 years. We got an upcoming event. It's called Community Conversation 101. Community Conversation 101. And again, this is going to be September the 27th, 2712 North Saginaw Street, 1 to 3 p.m. There will be light food and refreshments. Let's talk about it. And we want to hear from the community. So this is something that we're not trying to run. Yes, Ms. Wilson will be the instructor or the facilitator, but we are not trying to set no kind of locked in stone any type of format. We want it to be free flowing for the community to have a voice, because many times you go down to the city council, you get 3 minutes, school board, 3 minutes. A lot of time when you're talking about building allies, you need more than 3 minutes. And a lot of times people got things to say, and a lot of times somebody could hear something that another person say and say, well, I was thinking about the same thing. And then we can get a consensus and say, well, we're going to take 3 things from our conversation. The 3 things, one thing could be just simple. Going back out in our community, asking for forgiveness for people that we may hurt or had problems with in our families or in the community, and just say, I'm going to work this week, come back next week and do a report. Saying, I'm going to say, brother, sister, mother, father, would you forgive me for whatever I did? It could be something as simple as meeting your next door neighbor or everybody on your block. That could be a simple call to action. We're not saying to go protest anything. We're saying to value our community. What does it look like for us to value one another? Number 1, stop being jealous and envy of each other. Stop lying on one another. Stop plotting on one another. Holding our church and these ministers accountable. There are no after-school activities going on in Flint, Michigan. There's no church open for any team club, roller skating, fencing, dodgeball, home economics. Even if you think about etiquette and hygiene, swimming, None of those things are taking place in our community. Why aren't they? They happen in other communities. The Islamic community makes sure they getting ready to build, they getting ready to open up another Islamic center out here on Guy and Coffin Road, I believe. And real quiet, they got the money because they own all the stores in our community. So they got the resources from us to go open up schools for their children. And we wondering why we in the condition that we in today. This is what the Islamic community is doing in Flint, Michigan. They have all the stores in our community, all the businesses in our community, pooling their resources to make sure that their children are educated for ownership and legacy. And all we sit back complaining, why? Running to the mayor and the city council thinking your situation is going to be addressed. And it's not. We need to take matters into our own hands. What do matters into our own hands look like? We need to start boycotting these stores or anything that does not support us. Why are we spending our money with car dealerships that don't donate to our community, that don't support our community? Why are we engaged in any healthcare that doesn't support our community? Why are we engaged in any stores, gas stations, car washes, pharmacies, anything that is not supporting the Black community? You think about Flint, Michigan. Flint, Michigan is a predominantly Black community, but is ran by other people. Flint, Michigan is a predominantly Black community, but ran by people that don't look like me and you. Yeah, they have puppets in place. Even down in Lansing, puppets look like me and you, but they go along to get along, just like Jimmy Kimmel was just fired. This is what white supremacy does. And then people want to get mad when you call them out on their BS. So they can lynch some Black people like James Byrd and nothing happened. So George Zimmerman is still alive. Dylan Roof is still alive. That's unacceptable. These officers that disrespected those seniors, downtown Flint, those officers that killed Rayvon Shaheed, are still alive. That's unacceptable, man. And we talking about human rights. There's no rights in this country for Black people. There never had. We were not included in the Constitution. When you think about Denmark Vesey, he was clear about what we are dealing with today. So we don't want to talk about our commitment to what our responsibility is. We want to call it in or be on our phones or be boots on the ground popping our fans while they fanning us to death. We want to party and BS, but we don't want to come together for a purpose where we can strategize, analyze, and deal with a situation that's going to benefit us. Why our community, it looks like Beirut. Our communities look like third world countries. Our classroom, our children and their parents are suffering because they're not being educated. You have teachers in this community that are hostile to our children. We send our children out to the suburbs, hostile environment. Why would we send our precious resources, which is our children, which is our future? Because you can tell everything about a community is how they treat their children. You can tell everything about a country, how they treat their children or selected children. Meaning other people's children that have resources get the benefits. Our children that don't have any resources And we won't even come out and vote 10%, 14%. People can get elected to city council for 300 votes in a ward with 9,000 people. The apathy is atrocious in Flint, Michigan. It's our fault. Huey Newton was clear. Fred Hampton and them was clear about the demarcation. But look at us and look, we are pitiful people in this community. We allow them to screw us with the water, don't demand nothing, but we can kill each other. We can shoot each other homes up. Our children can walk around with masks on. Our young ladies half naked. Everybody got eyelashes out to here. That's supposed to be sexy. Half naked. Our young girls, what are our young ladies emulating? This culture that exploits them, so they all gonna be strippers. That's what we want for our young ladies and our young men. It's our responsibility. It is our responsibility to teach these young people what to be. They can't be if they have no clue, if they have no foundation like a tree without roots. We got 3 generations of human beings in this country that have no roots, have no kind of understanding about family, love of family, love of community, working together, having projects where we can see some wins. We can see some wins by cleaning up our own street, by cleaning up wherever you are, cutting the grass, painting, pooling our resources. We used to do what other communities learned from us. They talk about the Holocaust. We are still in our own Holocaust. Everybody that has been disrespected, murdered, and killed by different groups, all have gotten reparations but us. You know why? Because we turn on one another and don't support each other. We want to be in proximity to power. And when power don't look like us, we want to look like them. You know, in other cultures, some of the behavior that we exhibit would not be tolerated. And I have to agree with that. If you roll a certain way and you present yourself to a community a certain way, and you are a cancer to that community, you should be dealt with. You should be dealt with the way you behave. Like George Zimmerman. Like this administration that's taking place now. Like the administration right here locally. All power is local. When you think about how Wade Trent, DDA, back to the bricks, all these entities are able to move, and the money they are able to shake down from the stakeholders, they make sure their back to the bricks is pristine. They make sure that everything in a 7-block, 6-block radius that they literally spent $10 million to do a street, they make sure that's tight. They make sure, but we haven't built a new school, not a real school in Flint, Michigan, in almost 60 years. You know, we continue to play games because those people that have don't send their children to the schools in Flint, Michigan. Those people that have and that work in Flint, again, they exploit Flint, but they have no allegiance to Flint. They talk about Flint. They laugh about Flint like they did with the city council. The city council in Flint has become a joke. Nobody has been arrested, went to jail, or have died that intentionally poisoned this city. Snyder's still alive, along with those Negroes and the DQ and the people at the water company. They still alive. The lawyers got money. They got their yachts, send their children to the best schools off of the blood and the death of people in Flint, Michigan that was intentionally poisoned by the water. And the water's still no good to drink. But we, Pop fans, boots on the ground, we go to the clubs. Any concert, we run to the concert, and you ignorant fool watching a football game where they having a moment of silence for a devil. You having a moment of silence, and you got these foolish black Negroes, these Sambos on these teams, all of them, especially the ones that married to them other people. Our ancestors are crying and wailing because of our behavior. And you're going to continue to play a game when all we have to do is not show up for any of these games on Sunday. When you want to break the insanity of a country that their God is money, cut the money off. Just like that cryptocurrency, cut the money off. Stop playing football, baseball, basketball. Stop rapping and having concerts. Why are we having concerts? Why are we engaging in any kind of commerce with people that are diametrically opposed to your existence? Most of the artists in music in this country, they don't even own their own masters or the rights to the songs that they wrote. They give you peanuts. They give you a star and some concrete where you invited to the party. You got a billionaire. Sean Combs is in jail, and he a billionaire. Sean Combs is in jail. He's a billionaire. R. Kelly, worth about $500 million, he's in jail. But you got all these devils running this country, and they are some of the most perverted human beings on the planet. Love little children, love little kids, love little boys, love little girls. And they are running the country. The Ted Cruz, nasty, evil human beings. That guy, I don't know where in the world he come from. But those Steve Bannons and that Miller guy, oh man, you talking about some devils. And this is what happened when you think about they throw Christianity and right to life. All that is a smoke screen. That's 3-card money. That ain't got nothing to do. That ain't got nothing to do with being godlike. But they throw that out. These people show you that they eat their young. They will eat themselves. Do you know what the Crusades was about? The Christian Crusades was about? Y'all want to know about the Moors that was in Spain for 750 years and what they brought to Spain, what they brought to Europe? Europe was in the Dark Ages, and those black people brought light. You want to know about sugar? 10,000 years ago, the discovery of sugar. And one of the main elements of the trans and the Sahara and the construct of slavery was based on sugar. It didn't have nothing to do with cotton. Sugar is the #1 drug and industry in the world. Do y'all know the world consumes over 9 billion tons of sugar a year? 9 billion tons of sugar a year. The slave or slavery, Slavic, because that's where slavery comes from, Slavic community. If you talk about indentured servant, so you were indentured servant to a monarch or to a dictator. And so they create laws for you to break, right? Just like in this country. We have laws. You break the laws, you can't pay your fine, you go into indentured servitude. Or the penal. It was called the peonage law, right? Back in the day, they used it on us, right? If you got caught laundering or not having a job and you were black, you would go and work at the slave camps, at the peonage camps, at the peonage camp. Because don't get it twisted. At one time in this country, they didn't put black people in prison. Today, prison, jail, county jail, local jail, detention centers, probations, all those things are trillion-dollar business because they feed the mouths of other people. See, most of the plantations in Michigan are in rural places because they're making sure those other people eat. They're making sure those other people send their kids to school so they can be generations of correction officers, right? It is just like fire department, the police department, military. It is a business to be a correction officer. And they feel that our business is to be punished, killed, murdered, and incarcerated because it feeds their family. We allow our children, because we don't want to invest in our children, to go into a system that we know that is going to break them and destroy them. And we all right with that. We all right with our tax dollars going to support military National Guards that are legally in communities, but they won't put no resources. Again, we don't have no swimming pools, no roller rinks, no team clubs, no after-school activities. We don't have nothing for our children. And this community don't care. The stakeholders in this community don't care. Because all the money, $1.5 billion, is spent downtown. Right now, you got 7 projects going on around Flint, Michigan. And out of all of the projects that's going on, meaning they're building, you can count on one hand how many black or brown people working on any one of those projects. 7 in Flint proper. You got 20 going on in Genesee County. And definitely, if you go on Court Street right now, over there with the consumer powers, they're working on a big project over there. Not one black person working on that crew, not one. But we all right with it. The mayor's all right with it. City council all right with it. Whoa, why you want to protest? Why are you upset about how you being mistreated in this community in Flint, Michigan? Why they want to send the state police, the police, but they want to give the sergeants a raise, but don't want to give no money to the North End store. But you want to give money to people that's diametrically opposed to your community. Why do we call 911 in the first place? Why would you call police to come out to your community to kill you? We are some fools to call the enemy to come help us when you need to be calling me. 810-394-4105. Call me if you got some problem with anybody in your family or on your block. Call me. Don't call 911 because they're not going to come to help. They coming to destroy you. You see what they did to old folks, and the car was still moving. They pulling them out of the car for protesting and nothing, along with Chief Green. Unacceptable, man. I should even respect him by giving him the title. What they did with Mr. Barton, the old fire chief, when they allowed those 2 children to be murdered, and Shelton Neely is not held accountable, just like Snyder. So again, guys, you know, I believe in saying less and doing more. I don't believe in a lot of meetings. I believe in actions like the Panthers. The Panthers were very clear. That's why they killed them. That's why they lynched them boys the other day, because they telling black folks, say anything, like they fired and castrated Jimmy Kendall. He a white boy. He gonna be all right. He a millionaire. But what's happening, guys, when you talk about so-called free speech, they encroach a little, a little, a little. This is the same thing that Stalin did, that Hitler did, that Mussolini did. This tactic is not new. They keep talking about Project 25 and Project 30. Man, the project was here when they took this country from people that was already here. That was the project from them criminals that left England. You got an island that colonized 171 countries. You got a group of people on an island that colonized 171 countries by the bullet. Because most of those countries wasn't engaged in no kind of, they didn't have, I think his name was Max something, that invented in 1883 or 4, invented the machine gun, or the Gatling gun first. And spears and all that kind of stuff. Swords don't match up with no Gatling gun. There was an incident that took place with the Mau Mau's. You got over 30,000 Mau Mau's that was killed, that was murdered in 3 hours. 30,000 black people murdered in 3 hours by the Gatling gun because they had spears, But no, we don't want to engage in that history. 1966, the Panthers were very clear. They got a 10-point plan. 10-point plan ain't talking about no kind of killing no white people. None like that. Just like the MOVE in 1984, they dropped the bomb on the group MOVE, and MOVE was saying, I don't want to send my children to your school. They dropped a bomb on row houses and killed over 25 people, men, women, and children. Because there's no consequences when you kill black and brown people. But they getting ready to give half mass and all kind of stuff for this white boy. This white boy, they want to say that he was a civil rights activist. And you black people going along with it. You preachers go along with it. Most of you preachers are cowards, man. You guys hide behind theology, but you guys are not on the forefront dealing with what's happening day to day in this community with our children and with the families. Y'all comfortable getting your tithe and your offerings, man. You're riding around in your big pretty car. But in my reading of the Bible, Jesus was a panther. He was an activist. Jesus was busting up things. They lynched Jesus for speaking out against systems that had no allegiance to human beings. And we find ourselves again marching along like ducks, getting popped off, and no consequences is taking place. That's why nobody respects black people. So again, I want to make sure that we're covering what our goals is. Our goals for our community conversations, one-on-one. Let's hear your voice. Don't be afraid to be black. I know you guys have a hard time with that. But we want the community to have a voice. We want you guys to come 2712 North Saginaw Street, 1 to 3 p.m. Light. There will be light food and refreshments. But we want you guys to come together. We're calling our community to come together, guys. What else can we do but come together? Merely separated the Hazelbrink Center, and now it's a Maid Center, And so the other people, now they're immigrants or they migrants or they nomads. They own Flushing Road, I believe now, in some church. And the conditions over there are not good. Miss Beverly and them. So you see how we break our community up? Senior Citizens Community Center broken up because of egos and attitudes. So I'm going to treat you like this, you're going to be treated like that. So you got people on Home Street beefing with the people on Flushing Road because it's all about resources. Who get resources and who don't? That's a divided community. That's done intentionally. This is old. This is 1,000 years old, guys. Dividing cultures and communities is how they divided us on the continent of Africa. That's how they tricked kings and queens. They didn't do that, 10,000 years ago because they was clear about who would get got and who got got. They weren't playing with no BS because they was connected to God and the universe. They weren't playing with no foolishness. You weren't coming up in there disrespecting the community. Oh, no, no, no. They wasn't having that. But you see how these people, the NRA, the Federation of Policing, and all these other entities make sure that they tight. They make sure that they got money. They make sure that they re-up their money. They make sure they go to their vacations and they make sure they have their Klan rallies. They have their Klan rallies, man. And they get money for their Klan rallies, y'all. Citizen United, 2013. Supreme Court overturned Citizens United. I know most of you people don't know what that is. But now corporations are people. And corporations right now, think about it. They just counseled a white boy. A corporation, they trying to merge Nexstar and ABC and Disney and them. Again, man, it's just poison, man, because all of it is about money, money, money. So I'm going to destroy your opportunities to speak against what's wrong when thousands of people are getting killed in Gaza right now every day. Nobody's saying nothing about it. Russia just fired 2 days ago on a NATO ally. Nobody said nothing about it. This country just fired on 2 ships of Venezuelans. And China just introduced a new ship that is the cutting edge of technology. Keep playing. Keep playing with these people. That factory down there in Georgia, where the white girl told on these Korean nationals that were working at this company, not in insurance. The company is a $20 billion company, and it was bringing all kind of resources to Georgia, down there in Savannah. Now it's shut down. Do you know what that's going to do to the economy of that region down there, y'all? But now they opening up they had shut down this dungeon in Louisiana because it was disgusting. Now they opening it back up and putting people in there that's been arrested by ICE. And many of the ICE agents have been deputized because they were part of January the 6th. So you guys want to talk about legality and law. There's no laws in this country that white people have to respect. They were let out of prison. They were let out of prison after killing and maiming police officers in January 6th. White people, white crime, white people killing white people that was let out of prison for killing white people. And you think we don't get any justice? We are some fools out there in Grand Blanc, Flushing, and Davidson, and Goodrich. We are some fools that we're working in a system that paying our mortgage, and we can pay our health care and our being able to pay into our death benefits. But our children are being put out of school. Our children can't go to school. Our children are being denied education, and we are not doing anything about it. Where's the NAACP in Flint, Michigan, the Urban League? Where's Nam Al Sharpton? Where's Ben Crump? Where's any minister with any kahunas that's standing in the gap for these young people, for our community that don't have any resources? Who is trying to open up any of their churches? We'll come and run them. If y'all talking about people coming to run the churches, we'll do it. If you open up your gym, y'all got all these pretty gyms. Y'all got all that government money through Bush administration to open up the gym. Now they used to tell you guys y'all couldn't speak on anything political. Trump just shut that down. Trump saying any church preacher can talk anything they want about any politician or any political entity or anything right now. Is open. It's the wild, wild west. At first you couldn't do it because you would lose your tax exemption. Now it's wide open. See, that's what the enemy does. Triggers every time. What my time was. So again, okay. We got 6:13 guys, and we got about a few more minutes left. We end at 6:30. We always like to do an hour. We know your attention span is not as long as it used to be because of the technology. And I know I'm not entertaining. I'm not a comedian. I'm not engaged in any acrobatics, and I'm not doing no pornography. So I know you guys will have a hard time paying attention to me because I'm trying to bring you facts. So don't be afraid of me. But at least give me a few more minutes and then I will let you go because I know how precious your time is. And I know many of you people really, really, really have somewhere to go and not listen to me. I thank you for the little time that you gave me. I'm hoping something that I said, like I gave you a little education on sugar. Sugar started 10,000 years ago. Actually, people look like you and I actually discovered it. Sugar is in the family of, grass to a greater degree, if you want to scientifically, if you break it down. But then it went through a lot of different transitions when you think about the Ming Dynasty, the Ottoman Dynasty, when they became purification, squeezing it, and how it became what it is today. It took some time, 2,000 years for it to get what it is today. But uh, sugar was the number one force behind the enslavement of black and brown people. First, it was indentured servitude, but sugar is only grown in hot climates. Sugar cannot grow in Michigan at all. I'm just giving y'all. It's got to grow in the Caribbean and places like that. And so that's one reason why uh, England colonized 171 countries because they were the epitome and the exploiter of human capital based on rum. Their empire was really based on their love of rum, getting drunk, getting high. That was their number one. And then they had a sweet tooth. Sugar was at one time. Sugar was used as a municipal herb. You know what I mean, to cure a lot of different things. They thought because sugar gives you that quick energy, right? And then when you think about sugar cane, once you cut it, you got to process it right then. You can't leave it for 15 minutes once you cut it because it started decomposing. And while I'm bringing you, I want to always bring history facts to you guys. And I want you guys to go research, just like the Moors, in Spain, for 750 years. Black people, I mean, there were many different shades of color. Tariq was the number one brother that was running things. He bust up in Spain and he didn't sack it. You know how Alexander, whenever white people go to places, they destroy everything. When he went up in Spain, he brought books, culture, music, knowledge, math, science, astrology. He brought light. He brought inoculation because many of the Europeans were not taking baths. Do you know people in Europe was not taking baths? I'm talking about for months. for months. Funky, funky, funky. But no, we don't want to talk about that. And boning their own children, boning their own cousins and stuff. That's what they engaged in because they believed in keeping their power in their family. And so they had a lot of incest that was taking place. We don't want to talk about that. I know you guys are afraid of that. So one thing I really want to tell our community, this is the time not to be quiet because they are coming for you. I don't care how you hide behind your whiteness or your white friend or your white job. I don't care if you're a police officer or mayor. I don't care if you're a judge or a governor. If you black, you got. Well, if you black, I got to preference that. If you are black and not in the lane of Tiger Woods and Patrick Mahomes and Saquon Barkley, they married to these and Serena Williams, you're not one of us. You're not one of us, and you can't identify with us because, again, you in your $45 million yacht. You can't, you can't really relate to people that, just want to have a decent life, not bother nobody else, not come over to your house or bother you. We just want to live our lives without being hunted and killed as sport. Because that's what's happening in here. Do you know, in this country, white people, they love their sexual appetite is to hurt, kill, and destroy black and brown people. That's their sexual motivation. It's in their DNA. They hate us. They hate us. And we love them more than we love each other. It is so sad that our ancestors are weeping, that those Panthers are weeping, because they gave their life for us to have dignity. And we don't even protect our own community. We don't even protect our children. We don't even teach our children. We don't even teach our young ladies. We have more love for our cars and our dogs than our children. And before I close, do y'all know that most pets in this country live better than black and brown people? Most animals in this country. The other day, this boy had a picture of Michael Vick. He had Michael Vick jersey on and two pit bulls. And he was just chilling. And white people came after him because he had a picture of two dogs, like it was just a picture. White people be in pictures and licking their dog's nuts. And this boy did a quarterback with Michael Vick, honoring Michael Vick with two pit bulls, and they came after him. We're a sick society. But it's our fault. It's our fault. So before I close out, community conversation, let's talk about solutions. September the 27th, 1 to 3 p.m., 2712 North Saginaw, that's right next to Job Corps. Please, please come. Lift your voice and be heard. We giving the community the power. Again, you guys go down to city council and get mistreated. No police gonna escort you out. You're not gonna be attacked coming down with family. Family is not gonna attack you guys. Don't be afraid to be around family. We are not going to attack you. We want to hear from you because we love you. We love you. So again, I want to give a shout out. We are engaged and we do have some programs, rites of passage, where we are teaching over at Southwestern High School 30 young men. We also have a program called Involved Ed, Community Impact, where we greet the students at 6 area schools the first Monday of every month. This Monday coming up, we're going to be at International Academy. That's at 7:25 in the morning. If you got 20 minutes, all we ask is 20 minutes of your time. 20 minutes of your time to value a young person, because many times our children never hear I'm proud of you, never hear I love you, never hear good morning, Governor, good morning, Madam Secretary, good morning, astronaut. See, we wanna pour into our children. They cannot be what they don't see. And so often they will be what they don't see because nobody's giving them guidance. Many of you guys are retired and sit back, I don't want to have nothing to do with them, throw your hands up. And then you guys cringe when something happens, when a baby is killed, when a house is shot up. Why can't we be proactive than reactive? Why can't we be like the Panthers? Be proactive, not sitting around for a handout. Why are you people going to these white schools? Why are these football players going to these schools in Alabama, Mississippi, and Michigan when they done destroyed DEI or affirmative action? You guys are just being exploited. Why do we attend and allow ourselves to be Jim Crow? We allowing ourselves to be Willie Lynch. And it serves us right. Just like people talk about picnic. Picnic was started by advertising the lynching, the castrating, and the tar and feathering. They call it picnic. And they would put it in the paper that we are going to kill a black girl, a black man, a black boy, or a black person, period. Didn't matter what it was. But they enjoyed, and they used to bring their fried chicken, their watermelon, and their potato salad. And they had their children watching black people scream and holler and be set on fire. And then they would take body parts. Right now, most white people got body parts of black people in their homes, guys. That's sad. Closing, again, I like to encourage our community to hug someone that you don't know, smile at someone, say hello to a stranger. Again, I know many people think that I'm preaching hate, but I'm not. I'm preaching the truth. I mean, this country is screwed up. This country needs an enema. This country needs therapy. This country from day one was taken from people that was already here. And you telling me that the sky is blue, but you telling me it's purple. And you telling me that it's my fault for not being able to be allowed to be a human being on planet Earth. If it was up to white people, they would monetize air. How many of you guys would be breathing now? Most of you guys listening to me would be dead because you couldn't afford it. I'm Brotha Niam Roberts. I'm the chairman of Black Lives Matter Grassroots Flint, Michigan. Again, my number is 810-3 at gmail.com. My email, and again, Wakanda. Put it off. Thank you, my brother.
No doubt, no doubt.
You was a little early.